Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you again today. It's your girl Shane, and we have with us.
Hola, Miss Lynn, Miss Mama Lynn, right here with you.
All right. We're super excited about today. So we have a really cool workshop that I actually did at the Harvey B. Gantt Center. A shout out to the Harvey B. Gantt. And it is a goal setting exercise. And this is what it looks like. So bam, bam, bam. So what we have is this space theme. So you'll see there's like stars, and it's kind of like you're making your own constellation. I have a little rocket ship right here. I have a planet with a clock in it. I have another planet here. So here's basically what you do. We're going to take cups instead. And so we're going to create circles. So you'll need 3 circles at the top, 3 circles at the bottom to make a bigger circle, and then 1 in the center. So you'll have a total of 7 circles that you can trace with a cup. And in the middle, you're going to put something that symbolizes your goal. So I have a goal to launch a membership for poets. And so I did a big star in the center. And then on the outside circles, you're going to basically do like a universe, like stars and planets that's going to symbolize the skill sets that you need to achieve your goal. So for here, I have dream. I'm going to have to dream up what the membership looks like. I have a planet with a clock in it because I'm going to have to manage my time. I got a planet here that's about focus. So I wrote the word focus. And then I have go big here because I can't play small. I'm gonna have to go big. So I did like these stars and these planets to symbolize that expansiveness. And then I have a rocket ship down here that's called Inspire because I need to be able to inspire people in order to launch this membership. So the final thing you'll do when you're done is at the bottom, you're going to write how you're going to feel once that goal is achieved. And this is really important for goal setting because then it's like you're already focusing on what you want to make happen and how you're going to feel once that happens. So the more you can visualize it, the easier it's going to be to achieve your goal. And your goal can be big or small. It doesn't matter. So it's whatever goal you want for yourself, whatever you want for yourself. So what I wrote is, up here, the air feels so expansive. I can finally stretch and take up the space my spirit has been longing for, to express, connect, and expand. So that's how I'm going to feel once I launch this membership and I get it going. So I can finally grow into who I need to be and where I want to go. So I did this with crayons and colored pencils. So that's what I'm going to be using, but you can use whatever you have. Watercolors, you could use crayons, whatever it is, markers. And just remember, it's going to have a space theme because it's going to be about expansiveness. It's going to be about growing yourself and reaching for those stars and those goals, right? So anytime you put effort into a goal, whether that's visualizing it or planning it, you are moving one step closer to your goal. And this stuff really matters, y'all. It really matters. The more you do art journaling like this or any type of journaling, it's going to really help you focus and figure out what's important in your life so that you can make steps to move towards it. So all of this matters when it comes to goal setting. And it's a fun activity you can do, but it's also helping you achieve that goal by focusing and putting energy and time into the things that you care about. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'm going to see, Mama Lynn, what do you think about this?
I love I love the message in the bottom of it, and to expand on the idea that you were saying, that when you are committed to time, when you're creating movement and energy around something, you're already starting the manifestation of it. And something that I started practicing a while ago is the idea of removing the word want out of my vocabulary when I'm doing projects like this, so that in my writing, it's, may I know what it is to feel, may I know what it is to obtain, I desire to, so that your language is helping you connect with what that vision is and brings it closer to you. which is so interesting because you're choosing to make it like out of this world, when the idea of that expansion is really just to bring it in closer so that it's more relatable, so that it's more connected, more real for you, which it blows my mind. I love it.
Oh, I love what you said about language. Language is definitely important. Love that. I'm going to show you some other examples. So this is another one that a person did. To live freely forever was their goal. And at the top, they put make steps. And I thought that was cool. They got like the sun and the steps next to it. Follow. I'm not really sure what that says. Maybe follow them. So like follow the people that they see as leaders, and then stay positive. They've got that here. Live simply. I like that one. Live simply. Cleanse, detoxify, and then know the truth. And at the bottom, they put unencumbered. Ooh, that means to feel lighter, to feel free. So they wrote, make steps to know the truth and follow through. Oh, that's what it is. Follow through. That's what that is. Okay. Cleansing and detoxifying my being, staying positive, living simply to live freely forever. So they use the words that they put in the spaces. I'm going to show you another one. This is one that I did as well. And I just used symbols. I didn't use any words in this. I have the alien here because my goal was to create more safe spaces for all people, even if they seem weird or out, or out of this world, right? So at the bottom, I put to create more safe spaces for all folks and provide grace and rebirth. So I think that's that's hope, and that's all people again. I got the rocket ship for that's like going towards the goal. This is love, that's why it's warm. And this star right here is to make sure I'm in constant motion, so a shooting star. And then this is the safe space. So I just use symbols in this one, so you can also do that.
Ooh, and the star, constant motion, but not many people get to see your moves, like you want to keep your moves quiet when you're doing, I mean, that's what some people sometimes feel, keep what you're working on a little bit quiet, so that way, nobody else's energy is working on it. And other people feel like, no, I'm going to project it, and keep the waves going. I love it. And one of the things that I liked about the variety of the three is that, so like for this one, there were no words, there were just concepts, right? That you connected with. With the second one that you showed, it was really more of internal work, simple things to really dedicate yourself to. And then I really can appreciate this one, because this one shows me that a lot of times people get uncomfortable, or there's a lot of judgment that comes with the word goal setting, right? Because we feel like it has to be really big and it has to make an impact. And the thing is that the more that you're fixing this, the bigger impact whatever it is that you contribute is, however small it might be. So just to keep that in mind.
Totally true. Totally true. When you're working on yourself, you make a bigger impact in the world, because it's an active, you're showing up in the world how you wish to view the world, how you wish the world was. And that's a beautiful thing. So yes, thank you for that connection. So, all right. Well, I got my cup here. I'm going to use a pen to do my circles. So I usually start in the center and then work around that because it's easier. So I'm going to do the center circle, the goal circle first. So, and I'm not really too worried about it looking accurate, or if I mess up on the tracing, because I can always go back and color that over. But there's my center circle, and I'm going to do my other three. And if it doesn't come out even too, that's totally okay. Don't worry about perfectionism here. This is all about the effort and the energy you're putting into what's important to you. So I say that for myself as well. as I'm trying to trace this cup. All right, so there's my one around the outside. There's my one here. And it's okay if they overlap too, it's all right. Depending on the size of your cup and, and the size of your paper. So, and it's kind of cool because like before we were using like the hexagons, which is like the 5-sided, and it's cool because it looked like a beehive, but this one is gonna look like stepping stones, which is pretty cool. So it's just easier to trace a cup. So I'm gonna do my 3 at the bottom. Make sure I get it on there all right. There we go. It's a little off center, that's okay. The important thing is it's on the paper. All right, so I did membership and safe spaces last time. So I'm gonna go a little bit more internal because you've inspired me, Mama Lynn. You've inspired me. So I'm really good with scheduling, but here lately things have gotten really busy and it's been really hard. So I think what I want from myself is focus. I really want to be able to, for example, this week alone, I had to make 3 trips to one location because I kept forgetting things at the location. So clearly I feel like I'm being pulled a little bit in all directions. So I definitely feel like I need to focus. So I think the best way to symbolize that when it comes to like stars and the galaxy and things like that is a telescope. I think a telescope would be cool. So I'm going to do my best. I don't really know what a telescope kind of looks like because I was not one of those kids that had one, but I'm going to attempt here to do some sort of telescope. Y'all don't laugh at my telescope now, or laugh at it. I don't care. But I'm going to attempt. Don't it have like this little thing on the side to like adjust the scope or something? I think it does. I have no idea. I'm gonna put a little compartment here too. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't have a reference photo, so I'm just going for it here. I'm just going for it. I'm gonna do a little bar, some more little gadgets. I hope there's no science geeks. Y'all gonna be like, that is not a telescope.
It started looking like a rocket ship.
Right.
Oh, there you go. You're going into space.
All right, so this telescope's on the ground. I'm gonna put a planet up here. I like the rings. I like doing the rings. The rings are cool. So there's my telescope looking at the planet. And I think I'm not gonna do any other distractions. I'm not gonna put other stars or anything like that. I'm just gonna solely focus on this telescope. And maybe I can even do like some rays. So it kind of signifies that's what I'm looking at. So hyper focus onto this planet. There we go. So that'll be my little telescope for focus. All right. Now this is the hard part. Well, how am I going to focus? How am I going to focus? So asking for help, I think, is important. So if I feel like I'm being pulled in different directions, maybe one of the things that I can do is ask for people to help with some of the projects. So it's not just me alone, right? So I really like the concept of the alien. So I think maybe I'll do maybe I'll do 2 aliens. Like they're working as a team, right? So I'm gonna draw my little aliens. Aliens are just fun. Give them those big old eyes. Let's put some smiles on those faces. An arm around them. And put a little peace on. There's my little teamwork. Little teamwork aliens. All right. Another thing is I'm gonna need some boundaries. I gotta start telling people some like no. I've got to. So let's see. A boundary for a planet or the universe. What would that be? Ooh, the black hole of no. There we go. We're gonna do a black hole of no. I'm gonna put the word no, period. Period. I'll make it look like it's sucking in all this unwanted stuff. So maybe it's like debris. Maybe even a little person. It's like, hey, I got a project. No, you don't. So this is my black hole of no. Here's my little person. Marlon, what you got for your goals while I think about my other one?
So I've decided to write the things that come up for me, and then as I'm writing, if the image of expansion comes up, then I'll fill it. So my focus, my nucleus is intentional choices, and I really don't know what to put there. Maybe I don't know what to put there for the universal part of it. I know that one of my first circles outside of it, like the one that you're drawing in right now, is morning gratitude. And so let me see if I can flip my camera. Okay, right. So I have intentional choices here, and something here has to connect with the main source. Like, what is it in the universe and in that is like the main source of it all. Then I have morning gratitude, and I've started doing like when you can see the light of the earth when you're up in up I don't know. And here I put silly and humor because I need to not be so serious, and I need to make that an intentional choice, and just that there can be a little bit more joy, and everything doesn't have to be like so agenda driven, and and I've started a little small planet there. I was thinking making that one Pluto, since he doesn't really exist, and we're kind of like, what the hell, what happened there with Pluto? So that's as far as I've gotten. Don't know what to do with this one. If you have any ideas, let me know. What should I put for intentional choices? Let me see how to fill in the rest.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love that morning light too, the concept of that. I love that. And yes, Pluto is a perfect planet for silly and humor because it's like, is it a planet? Is it not a planet? Where did it go? I love it, love it, love it, love it. Um, that also inspired me. I need to be connected to my intuition so I know what intentional choice I can make intentional choices and know what to say no to. So I did like this constellation where it's all about connectivity, but I made it look like a person sitting in a yoga pose. So that'll be my intent, like my tapping into my intuition to know what's right for me and what's wrong for me. Um, so thank you for that because that inspired that to happen. Intentional choices, that's a hard one. Like what in space is intentional? A satellite, maybe it has a mission, right? A satellite has a mission, and you can it typically has a path, a trajectory that it follows. Um, but it also, I mean, it's out there, you know, it's got its own, and I wouldn't say it necessarily has a boss or anything, but it has its own space, you know, it can, um, but it has an intentional mission. So that might be something. Let's see. All right, focus, focus, focus. What else is going to help me focus? Let's see. Um, we've got the black hole of no. We've got the delegation, which means, you know, assigning people tasks to do things to help. We've got intuition. Um, let's see. What's going to help me focus? You know what? Okay, so I have not been taking care of my body the way I should, which is probably not helping me focus. So I haven't been eating like I should. I haven't been I haven't been like drinking water. I've been drinking a lot of coffee. I'm a huge coffee fan. So, and it's pumpkin spice season. We talked about this last time. So, you know, I'm like drinking pumpkin spice like crazy. So, I need to take better care of my body. So, maybe, oh, you know what? The earth, because it has water and it has, ooh. Okay. So, I'm going to do the earth. It's got ignore this little bump right here. I don't know. The earth is a little. I'm gonna basically just try to do. I have no idea what country this is, but that's gonna be the earth. and and I'm gonna do the moon because the moon has those craters, right? So I'm gonna do like some kind of half circles to represent craters, because the craters could like hold things, right? So like maybe nutrients, things like that. And then I'm going to do the earth to for that to symbolize, you know, water, meaning I need to drink more water, and then the just plant life, right? So making sure I'm taking care of my own ecosystem. There we go. Taking care of my own ecosystem. All right. Got that down. So that'll definitely help. Let's see, what else is gonna help me focus? Hmm. Hmm. Communication. So making sure I stay on top of my emails and things like that. So maybe that's like a radio. A radio. This is an old school radio, y'all. This is like what they're gonna use to talk to like the spaceship and everything. So maybe I could even do a window right here and do like the rocket ship.
I came up with one, just one additional one. More of what is love for me, like not consuming my time and my energy and my thoughts with things that really, at the end of the day, don't serve my love, my joy. And so I, I it's so I love when you just allow it to flow. So I started writing the words, right? And I realized, oh my God, I have a lot of words to write here. but more of what is love. And then I realized that it's curving in a way that the moon does. So I'm like, yes, this is me being over the moon. So I drew a moon because that's what that feels like, and I'm already resonating with what it feels like when I'm engaged with more of what I love.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Love, love, love that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's see. Um, hmm. I like that idea though. I like that idea of what are you taking in? What are you consuming? Hmm. 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 I don't know. That kind of falls into like the no for me, like the black hole of no.
And even your earth, the food, like what you're truly like, what are you feeding your soul, so that then it can come out with, you know, beautiful produce.
Definitely, definitely. All right. This is the hardest part, y'all. It's like trying to figure out what's going to help you get there. Um, but that's why it's so important, because if you don't identify these things, then it becomes really hard to reach your goal, because you're not sure what steps you need to take and how to prepare yourself to get there. Um, hmm. Okay. I have the, I don't know, I'm leaning more towards the intuition thing. Um, oh, you know what has also been a thing of mine? So like thinking that it has to be done now, but it doesn't. It doesn't have to be done right now. Like if it can be done next year, it could be done, like it doesn't all have to get done immediately. So that urgency, although that's good to help drive what you're doing, it also can be kind of destructive, because then you carry the guilt and the shame that you're not there yet, that you haven't achieved it yet. So,
Mm,
right. So I'm thinking, what if I did like a Milky Way,
okay.
and that symbolizes like all the stops along the way. Like it's about the journey. It's not necessarily about like it being done right now.
Mhm, mhm.
I can connect those to show it's about, you know,
Each point. Yeah.
yeah, each point that you're learning, you're growing to get there. And it doesn't have to be like right now. Yeah. There we-
Mhm.
Lynn, I think your camera's off. I can't see you. Oh, there you are. Yay. So again, I said I'm using like oil pastels, which are basically really fancy crayons. It's the same thing as crayons. And I'm using colored pencils. So once you have yours, you can start coloring it in. You can also mix up uh, the materials. So for example, like let's say I use some of the old pastels or the crayons, right? I can also go in with the colored pencils on top of it or around it. So you can make it look really cool by mixing up the materials and experimenting with what that looks like, and give you a really cool effect. Yeah. So hopefully this helps you in setting some goals. I know it really helps me, and it's fun to do. And it helps me focus on things that are like really important. Um, Sometimes it's easy to get distracted, y'all, and get sidetracked of your goals, especially when you've got a situation that is just that you have to handle. I'm trying to think of a better way to say that, but like, let's say you've got like a crisis or something going on in your life, and I'm sure y'all have experienced that. But it's easy to get sidetracked because you're trying to deal with all the emotions and all of the things that you need to do to handle that situation. So this is another exercise that's really important to bring you back to focus, which is, mine, uh, so that you can make sure you're staying on top of it and not allowing these life circumstances to control you and to take over.
So last one that you did when you did the Milky Way speaks so much to that. And it's because the idea is that there is a concept that you have, right? But the thing, if you're focused on the end result, it's something that's always going to be too far-fetched to really stay with what is it in this very moment? What is the moment calling for you to do? Because when you continue to show up in that moment, there's no worry about anything else. There's just being and existing fully. So in one of my so here, after I saw your Milky Way, and it had me thinking, because I was going to give you an idea of like showing something really big headed towards something small, because what's big is the moment that you're in. That's the thing that you need to fill, right? Because everything else is just, it's just purpose is going to happen. It just manifests based on your feeling of that moment. And so I'm born, my birthday is January 6th, Three Kings Day, or the Epiphany, some people call it. And I always look for the three stars in the sky that sometimes represent like the three kings that came to, baby Jesus. And one of the things that my father would always say to me is that I was just one more gift that the three kings brought to baby Jesus. So it's knowing your worth in the moment, like in every moment, remembering that we are all connected to this. And that's like, no one can take that away from you.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I think that's the key. Like the whole key, y'all, is always like, how can you remain present? How can you remain present and know where you are in the moment and know what's being asked of you and know what's happening around you? And that is one of the reasons why I think art is so important, because it brings you back to the moment. It brings you back to like, okay, this is what's going on with me. I'm one of those people that I never thought I would end up like this, but I'm one of those people that avoid their emotions, and I didn't used to be. When I was y'all's age, when I was younger, I faced things head on. If I was feeling upset, you best believe everybody was gonna know. Everybody was gonna know that I was mad. Everybody was gonna know that I was upset, depressed. Like I had this huge belief that I am not gonna hide how I feel from myself or from anyone, and that I was gonna remain true to how I felt. And I think what happened is when I got older and things in my life started to get better, because it was not good, y'all. It was rough. But when things started to get better, I realized like the difference between feeling so awful and then like really loving life, that I didn't want to go back to that place. It was almost like I was scared that I would feel that again if I allowed myself to really face whatever I was feeling. But it's taken me a while to realize that like, no, you can feel what you're feeling, and it doesn't have to be as bad as it was back then, because you have more resources, you've grown, you've healed more, you know? And so for me, being present in the moment really centers around like, how do I feel? How do I feel right now about what's going on? And making sure that I check in with myself with that, so that I don't lash out and I don't mess up the good things that I have built in my life for myself. And so that's been really interesting to learn. But art helps me do that. Art is like my safe space, my vehicle for discovering, well, how do I feel right now, and what can I do about it? But if I was just to like have that conversation with myself without art, it would probably be super triggering. And I would be like, no, I don't want to feel any of this. I don't want to like, I would start having flashbacks of being in high school and like laying on my bedroom floor and just like having a panic attack and like, you know what I mean? But like art is like my safe space to explore how I feel and what's going on with myself. So that's another reason why I believe so heavily in the arts.
It's one of the things that, you know, a lot of times, especially when we're young, and we're identifying with our peers, right? Because there are things that attract us to the people that we run with, right? The idea that how do I separate who I am from who they are, what their experiences are with what my experiences are, because they're so unique and so different, right? And oh man, I was going with something. There was something that se me fue. It left me where I was gonna go with that. But it had something to do with the middle one that you drew, because the focus, if you really look at your picture, Shane, that middle one, it looks like wings. It looks like an angel. Look at that. Like the body is the microscope, and the colors, the way that you've done them, it's almost like the wings, like, and there's that expansion. There's that, you know, my whole like super spirit soul person, you know, coming out. I don't know.
Oh, that's cool though. I didn't even see that until you mentioned it, but like, yeah, right here. Yep. I mean, I think that, yeah, like you're when you identify with the people around you, and then you gotta, for me, it was more difficult though. Like, so just some backstory for me when it comes to identifying with peers. Like I found people who were also struggling, and I found like people who I could talk to, but I never felt like I could fully talk to them because they weren't experiencing what I was experiencing. Like my father had died and I was like really not okay. And it was really hard because I felt like I was the only person experiencing that. And so I immediately felt the separation between my peers and me. So I ended up in a lot of bad relationships because I was searching for somebody who was feeling that pain that I was feeling, but I didn't realize how destructive that was. So I ended up in a lot of bad situations because I just wanted somebody to understand what I was going through. And that led me to have all these like just really toxic bad experiences. And it took me a long time to come to peace with the fact that the experience I'm having is my experience to have, and that that's okay. And not everybody has to fully understand it in order to support me. But the biggest thing is for me to figure out, how do I want people to support me? And once I figured that out, things got easier. But I immediately felt disconnected from my peers right off the bat because of that. So for me, it was more about how can I connect to people, but that desperation to connect really led me into some pretty crappy situations and relationships. Ooh, I got some exes, y'all.
I remember now what I was going to say, because it was something that was inspired from you saying, you know, where, you know, what art does for you. If there's one thing that undeniably is individual, is the way that we create. Like no one can make the same alien that you made, and it's all honor. And so I can see that was why I was making that comparison between like peers who are peers that we identify with, but we're still individuals, and our art speaks for itself. It's who we are. It's no one can express what we express on paper, just us.
Oh, very well said. Yes. I always try to say that when like don't compare yourself. You're gonna do it anyway because that's just natural for us to do. But I mean, you are creating in the way that you need to create to reach the people you need to reach and to discover what you need to discover for yourself. And I always say it's like you can't compare Picasso to Michelangelo because they're two completely different styles. And with art, you're always going to have your own unique style. And the more you love that and accept that and push into it to like whatever your strength is, whether it's color, if you're really good at pairing colors together, or if you're really good with drawing, or you're really good with like balance on the page, whatever it is that you end up like, oh yeah, I really like it when I do that, when I pair colors or I do patterns, or even music, writing, whatever it is, the more you lean into your strengths, the more fun you're going to have doing it, because you are cultivating, you're investing, you're focusing on the things that bring you joy when you create that piece. And for me, that's been the biggest thing with art, is to let go of what I think the outcome's supposed to be and have fun with the things that I know I like to do. And the moment I did that, oh, everything shifted, everything. So for me, one of the things that I really enjoy doing is symbolism. I really like using symbolism in my work, and as long as I continue to bring that in, then, and color, I really like to use a lot of like bright, bold colors, or at least contrast. And I've been trying really hard to work on contrast, because it ain't easy, y'all. Like, it's scary to go darker on a piece because you're scared you're gonna mess it up. But the biggest challenge of mine has been to lean into that. If I like contrast and I like bold colors, then I need to really, really push into how I can make those things pop. So I've been working on that. It's just because you enjoy something doesn't mean you automatically have to be an expert of it out the gate. So like, if one of the things that I enjoy doing is contrast, but I'm not really good at it yet in my own eyes, I mean, somebody else can look at it and be like, that's amazing. But for me, if my standards, and I'm not meeting my own standards, you just need to be okay with that and know that, like, I enjoy doing this, so I'm going to continue to do it so that I can get better and do it more easily, and be able to create at that level and it not be the struggle bus, you know what I mean? So, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at it right out the gate. The cool thing about these oil pastels too, if you don't mind getting dirty, you can like mush them with your finger or a paper towel. But then they'll blend together, which is really cool. You can experiment with that.
The other thing, to add to what you were saying about how, we may really, really enjoy something, and sometimes our connection to it, it's challenged, because as we learn something, there are other things that we learn and other things that we want to get good at, better at, to improve the skill set. And so, since the focus of this is setting our goal, setting our intention with the middle circle, part of that is also the idea that the knowing that it's not it's not about perfection, it's about the learning, it's about the inclusion of this piece and that piece and putting it together and learning. And that when you don't get it, that's also a part of the learning, because now okay, so this gave me this result. That's not the result that I wanted, but I learned from that result. Now let me see how I can move forward and improve it, right? So, and to keep that in mind, and that really ties into, again, the one where it's like staying focused on the moment instead of the goal, because what you have intended for that focus, Shane, or what you, as the person who's watching this video, what you chose in the middle, that may be your vision at this moment, but allowing for that vision to shift as you continue to unfold in it all, because it may look completely different. And if you don't allow yourself to go, and if you don't allow yourself to, get back up and, and apply what you've learned, then you won't see the ultimate vision.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. So glad you said that, because it's totally true. Like, our goals can shift and they can change. And sometimes when that happens, we feel like, oh, we failed, or like we were lesser than, we're lesser of a person because we didn't achieve that goal, or because we didn't make any moves on it. But y'all, sometimes you don't achieve the thing because it's not actually the thing that you want to do. It's so easy. Gosh, it's so easy to get tied up in thinking, yes, I want this, because the people around me have subliminally, and that means subtly, that means like very small suggestions, have planted the seed inside of our brain to think that that's what we want for ourselves. Or maybe it's social media. Maybe you see somebody and you're like, oh man, I want to be them. But it's not actually the thing they're doing that is what you want to do. You just want that level of confidence or something like that. And so it's really important to get specific on why you want the things that they have for yourself. But for me, a perfect example, okay, this happened to me years ago, and it really changed the way I view goals, and even how I set up, how I plan my year and how I plan my week. So I had this great idea. I wanted to launch this ebook publication company and call it Everse Press. All right. And I had it all planned out. I was like, yes, I'm going to do this. It's going to be amazing. And I never launched it, because you know why? I finally had to get real with myself. At the end of the day, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go through all these poets' books and have to read them and edit them and market them and push them. I love doing that with clients, but I don't want to do that I don't want to have to build this entire business on top of the business I already am trying to focus on. And it was such a distraction, but I thought, because I had the idea, that it was a goal I was supposed to achieve. But just because you have the idea, don't mean that idea is for you, or doesn't mean that it's something that's going to bring you joy, right? So I'm a perfect example, because I remember beating myself up on that, be like, why have I not launched this yet? It's because I didn't really want to, when I got really honest with myself. So thank you for saying that. And it can shift. Like, maybe you're like, oh, I got a goal to do something. And then you start doing that thing and you're like, you know what? This isn't for me. Or that goal that you had focused on sparks a different goal that becomes your focus. And that goal, its whole purpose was just to lead you over here, where you really wanted to be. So again, like Lynn was saying, allow yourself that flexibility. Nothing we do is set in stone. Nothing.
I had a friend once who said to me, and these are words that I even like, I share with my son, because um, it's just so on point. So the idea is, your goal in life is not to catch the bus. Your goal in life is to make sure that you prepare yourself the way that you know best to do. And you do your best to get to that bus, so that if you get there and you miss that bus, you know that that bus was not the bus for you. You, without a shadow of a doubt, it's just about the show up. Once you have that, then you can be in that confidence that Shane was talking about. That, all right, I'm gonna be here, then I'm gonna see what is to come. Let me see now. I can sit here comfortably because I did the work.
That part, like, do you want to be the person at the bus stop who missed the bus, who is just chilling, who's like, I ain't stressed, there's another bus coming, or maybe it's a train or a plane, or like, do you want to be that person, or do you want to be the person who's the Karen, who's yelling at the bus for driving off, and then now you're viral on TikTok showing your booty because you've become a Karen? Like, so don't be the Karen. Don't be the Karen.
Nah, boo boo, that was you. That was all. And that's and here we go again. So another part of goal setting is accountability, like really examining without judgment, because when we put the judgment in it, then there's guilt. Then there's, the idea of failure, the idea, the thought of, reservation of attempting again. Like, just Oye, se me fue otra vez. See, I'm so in the moment that my thoughts are leaving me, but it'll come back if it's supposed to.
That's so funny. No, but like exactly what you were saying. Exactly. All right. I'm going to write on my bottom how I'm going to feel once I'm better focused. For right out the gate, I'm going to tell you right now, less stressed, I'm going to put big letters, less stress. Oh my goodness, less stress. Less stress, more joy. More joy. Less stress, more joy. I'm also going to feel confident because I am focused. And I'm going to feel tuned in, connected, and secure. I'm going to feel more secure. Yes. All right. That's how I'm going to feel once I stay more focused. You know what? I'm also going to feel freedom. If I'm saying no, that's freedom and empowerment. Freedom and power. I'm going to put freedom and power because there is power in saying no. Some people don't have a problem saying no. Me, I'm a very service driven person. I want to help people. I want to be connected. I want to be in it, doing it, you know. So I have to be very mindful of myself when I'm saying yes to things because it can get out of control real quick.
I haven't figured out what mine is going to say. I know that it has something to do with like the visual that I got was like the difference between our commitment to watching a movie as opposed to swiping through social media. Like that right there is you never land. You just keep going and going, and it's kind of like all over the place where you're going. It doesn't really have a direction. You're kind of just allowing for something else to dominate your flow. Whereas if I'm making the commitment to be a part of this experience, watching the movie or being in the movie, that's where it is for me. And that's what the intentional choices are. Connecting with what I am choosing to do and being in it the best way I can.
Love that because that's totally true about scrolling. I'm not one of those people who are against social media. So I make a lot of money from social media, from marketing myself, and I've gotten a lot of connections that way. I've gotten a lot of opportunities that way. But I think being intentional about your social media is how it can work for you. So if you're not intentional about why do I have this page? What is its purpose, right? Why do I have a Facebook? Why do I have an Instagram or a TikTok? If you don't have a direction, if you don't know your why, like why you're on that platform, then you can get distracted and you can do this scrolling thing. And I know that when you're scrolling, that's because you're overwhelmed and you just need a distraction. And we all do it. We all do it. But I think being intentional about your distraction is important. Perfect example on that. I started doing the jigsaw puzzle games. So whenever I need a distraction and I need to just wind down or I need to like switch up my thinking, I go do the puzzle. There's certain people I follow. And instead of scrolling, I'll go to their page and I'll look at what they're doing. So I'm intentional about the moves I make on there. And if I am doing this, even that has an intention. If I am scrolling, it's typically on comedian reels so that I can laugh and be distracted. But the intention is I'm scrolling to find comedian reels. So whenever I see like news reels for stuff that's going to really mess up my energy and my focus, I don't look at it. I keep scrolling until I land on a comedian and I watch that. So I have an intention for the scrolling. So I think that that's huge what you said, because we don't think about it because it's become so natural to just do this, to just scroll. But if we have an intention for it, then your experience on social media drastically changes.
one of the things that I've noticed too is that action, or that like allowing it to direct you instead of you directing it, it also becomes a part of your like physical, um your physical presence. Like if you notice, even in yourself, not looking at other people, in yourself, if there are moments where you're just, you're having that, where you're kind of just going because you're tired, or you don't know what to do, or you don't want to do what you're supposed to be doing, right? It's, you have I mean, there is a slacker kind of physicality that comes with that. And that form, if you live in that form long enough, it becomes your form. And so, and what happens to that being the way that you walk and show up to the rest of your day? It's just, because it's all really connected.
Whoa. Whoa, you just blew my mind. Like but oh my gosh, it's so true. These habits you form show up in your life in other ways. So wow, something not small, y'all, can change the way you operate and the way you show up in the world. That's wild. But it's still true. And I know I mentioned this in a lot of the videos, but y'all, 98% of your decision making is your subconscious. It's not even your like you're not even driving the bus. You think you're not even in the passenger seat. You're way in the back. Like that's how important it is to know like how habits can affect the way you're living. That's huge. That's a huge gem you just dropped. Yes. All right, y'all. Go ahead.
No, to finish with that thought too, I will say that a lot of times what we target is the difference in the way that we communicate and engage with people one-on-one, because of the time that we have in in this outer space, right? But if we're going internally, like what is the way that it shifts your best version of yourself? Just to keep that in mind.
Lots of gems dropped today, y'all. Lots of gems dropped. This was such a good exercise. You're gonna have me thinking for the rest of the week, for real. So I just want to say thank you for joining us, for real. Thank you, Lynn. Let's see your piece before we get off here. What you got so far?
So I still have one circle to do, but this is what it's looking like. That's what I have so far. So this one right here, when we were having the conversation about showing up as your best self, I don't remember which is the planet that's the biggest, but I feel like it has similar colors. And so that's what this represents, like being the biggest source in the sky, in my sky. And this one is to be determined. I feel like this one has something to do with entrepreneur, mother, not sure, but there you go. Oh, and so what I wrote was commit. My thing was commit to the experience. I think I spelled commit wrong, but spelling don't count. And no swiping aimlessly. And I stood with what you said. What is my why? My why, my oh my why. Like all of it is just there to hold me.
Oh, I love the idea of it holding you. The why is holding you and keeping. It's almost like the why is gravity. That's freaking cool. That is cool.
Oh, Shane, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you, relative, family. I really hope. One of the things that I said to Shane when I saw her, the first one that she did, was, where did you put it? Like, where do you put it so you can see it and you can remind yourself? Please do your best in whatever spaces you feel most comfortable in to have these things present so that you can see yourself. A lot of times we forget who we are, we forget our purpose, and that's okay, because in the transitions, it's okay to forget, because if you're remembering all the time, then you're not really leaving room for that growth. But in the meantime, place these somewhere where you can be reminded of who you are, what you're claiming, and speaking it and thinking it and feeling it even closer and closer, every time you get to see it. I celebrate you all.
Love that. Yes, please put these where you can see them. They work like vision boards, y'all. They really do. And it helps you come back to who you are, especially when people got you messed up. Okay. So, so if you need a reminder, I'm just saying, put it somewhere where you can see it. And if they need a reminder, maybe show them, you know? Um, but we love you dearly, and we hope you're having an awesome week. And we look forward to these every single time. And that's all we got for you today. Have a great week, everybody, and stay safe.